Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Several items to get to now that the media days are now over for the respective conferences. Next week, practice will get underway. I believe, is the Shore event tonight in Avalon? Or is it last night? I think it's tonight.
Tonight,
Tonight in Avalon. But then they get into camp next week, and the local media day will be on Saturday, the 2nd of August. So we are now near the end of July, and it's time now to start getting to August, and that means camps. But, yeah, camp will start next week, and media day will be next Saturday locally for Penn State football. I will get to Tony Petitti in a moment. But have you seen the story about the defensive back at Tennessee who has been admonished by his teammates because he hasn't been showing up at on a regular basis for the voluntary workouts? I mean, that's what it comes down to. And they have tried to get a hold of him, so they contacted his agent. And the agent has said, I can't. He says he hasn't been in contact with me for a couple of weeks. This is Boo Carter we're talking about here. Okay? And so we contacted his agent. Except the agent that they have the name for says, he hasn't talked to me in a little bit. I don't know if I'm still his agent.
Jeez. That part I did not catch.
So now it turns out that it appears that with Omar Cooper is now his agent. Now, who's Omar Cooper? He had connections with Auburn for a long period of time, athletically, and has become an agent. And he was the guy responsible for getting Ace Bailey to go to Atlanta to play high school ball, which then ended up getting to Rutgers, and now is Ace Bailey's agent with the Utah Jazz. Okay? And it appears that he is now the agent. Right? So people, of course, are wondering if this is a Nico Iamaleava situation. They're indicating it's probably not. But it is... It's crazy times down there, right? So, corner Ricky Gibson and wide receiver Mike Matthews flirted with the transfer portal but stayed at Tennessee. Pass rusher James Pierce, NFL draft stock dropping this because he was sometimes a headache behind the scenes, right? So, Matthews and Gibson never entered the portal. We all know that Nico left and went to UCLA, and then his brother left, Arkansas, and joined him at UCLA. And then UCLA, Aguilar, they thought he was going to be their quarterback. He now transferred to Tennessee, so it's like it all worked out for everybody. And now Boo Carter, who was a freshman All-American at corner, he's obviously a talented player, whether he's an NFL player or not, only time's going to tell. I always love it. Like, he's an NFL player. I don't know. Let's see in 3 years where he is, how he fights through ups, downs, injuries, things like that, to see if he gets there and so forth. But they're going to have media day for Tennessee coming up next week. And, you know, it's one of those things, you know, you got to have media day for Tennessee. 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 You got to have when they do, that's going to be one of the questions. You, of course, are all excited just about bobbleheads tonight.
Well, of course. But yeah, it should be a fun night for the State College Spikes. Obviously, big night, Paul Posluszny bobblehead night. Should be fun. No doubt about it. First, the 3 bobbleheads are given out, but it should be a nice night. Taking on the Trenton Thunder. Hopefully the thunderstorms hold off, but always a good time to get out to the Spikes game. Yesterday was the Super Splash Day. Always one day game a year, the 12:05 day game. Yesterday was that game. So, yeah, very much looking forward to tonight. Paul Posluszny will be there. Should be meeting fans as well. So, looking forward to it. Very much have not gotten the chance to. Been a busy summer. I've only gotten to 2 Spikes games so far this year. This will be number 3 for me. And it's always something I enjoy doing over the summer. So, yeah, bobblehead being given out tonight of one of the great players in Penn State history. Obviously, one of the great linebackers coming from linebacker U, without question. That era, when you had Paul Posluszny and Dan Connor on the same team. It was always incredible. And then Sean Lee comes about. So certainly the definition of linebacker U was that era of Penn State. Paul Posluszny defined it in so many ways. Wore the number 31 that the great Shane Conlon wore. So no question about it. Looking forward to tonight. It's going to be fun. And 1 of 3, again, they're giving away Katie Schumacher Cawley coming up August 10th. Giving away Guy Godowski August 28th as we get ready for 28th, I think, is the last game of the year for the Spikes. So that'll be and then host a playoff game coming up the following week on September 4th. Tickets went on sale for that earlier this week. So it's been a fun summer. It continues to be more fun as we get set tonight for the Spikes taking on the Trenton Thunder. And always fun. At minor league baseball is always something that I grew up to it as a kid. I enjoyed it for many, many years. I still do. It's not necessarily who wins or loses. I've always learned that with minor league baseball. It's the experience you have there. And the experience I have every time I go to Midler Field at LeBron Park is amongst the very best. It always is. The experience is top notch. The ballpark is one of the very best in baseball. And when they were affiliated with a major league team, as you hope that day will come again someday, but when they were, I think in terms of a single A ball club, it was as great of a ballpark, and still is, that you have the chance to attend a game for. It's always a great experience when you head out to Midler Field for a game.
The bottom line is you have more bobbleheads in your house than people.
Well, of course, I only have 2 people in my house.
I mean, but in the history of the house, you got more bobbleheads than the people who actually walked in.
Yeah, most likely. Probably. Try to get as many. Now the bobbleheads I actually bought.
Okay, what is the prize bobblehead in your life?
The prize bobblehead,
like the number one, like okay, this is a little bit different than anybody else's.
I have a couple. I think one of the big ones, because it took me so long to obtain, because I'm not sure how everybody's. I'm sure there's people listening that collect bobbleheads too and line up for the bobbleheads. Penn State Wrestling, when they have national champions, give out the national champions the same night. And the hardest one for me to get was Bo Nickel. Took me a long time to get that bobblehead. Okay. Finally got it. So that one to me is very special. From the 49ers perspective, any one of them of Joe Montana. I don't have many. I only have 2. And
how many are you supposed to have?
They made quite a few of them. I tell you that. But just having a Joe Montana bobblehead, having somebody that obviously is the reason I'm a 49ers fan, is great. I have a Jerry Rice Super Bowl MVP one. I love. That's one of my favorites. Kyle Shanahan.
That's a prized one.
Prized possession because it was set to be given out in 2020. obviously was not.
Do you know what the difference is between a Kyle Shanahan bobblehead and the actual Kyle Shanahan?
It's good all 4 quarters.
Okay, neither one of them makes the right decision in the Super Bowl overtime.
Well, no, and that one's good for all 4 quarters. It's fully made. But yeah, those are probably amongst my favorites in terms of the spikes. Have made some great ones over the years. My favorite one of the spikes. Ooh, I love the James Franklin bobblehead because you have the gate behind it. I love the David Taylor bobblehead. I think they did an outstanding job with that one. And I'm looking forward to I was looking forward to all 3 this year. The Katie Schumacher-Cawley one's going to be special to me because of obviously the influence that she's had on our lives in so many ways. And I said this last week on the air when I was filling in for Pat. It irks the heck out of me when people say, well, you shouldn't be having athletes or celebrities as your heroes. That's bull. You look at the All-Star game last week, and they honored Hank Aaron. What Hank Aaron went through, obviously, during that time. Hank Aaron's your hero. Good. What Katie Schumacher-Cawley, obviously, the perseverance
you
of her.
can pick anybody as your hero. It doesn't matter whether it's an athlete or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, for goodness sake, somebody picks an athlete as a hero, fine.
That's fine. It drives you.
Somebody picks somebody at work as a hero, fine.
Go for it.
Whatever.
Parents,
it's like
same.
If you think they're a role model to you, fine.
Exactly. Same. Parents,
same thing. Don't moralize. I'm
it drives me
moralize
nuts.
this. Okay, you know what? Here's one for you. Just keep it to yourself.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
That's the standard you want to live by. Fine. I have no problem with that.
And I can almost guarantee you, most people that say that did not play professional sports and didn't understand the work ethic that they have, which is legendary in a lot of cases.
It's just people mouthing off.
That's part of it, too.
So many people. It's like, please.
Yeah. Keep it to yourself. Okay? I agree.
I mean, come on.
Agreed.
Yeah. I always have a saying, like when somebody will volunteer something to you, I said, I don't recall asking you for your opinion.
Nope.
Which means I didn't really care to hear it.
Yeah. No. No. As long as it is legal, within reason, do what makes you happy. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's literally whatever people's opinion are of it, then so be it.
Right.
It's literally.
Now, if you're talking opinions in the room, I have no problem. Anybody can have any opinion they want. I don't care.
Absolutely.
Don't care at all.
Also doesn't mean we have to agree with it.
Right. But when something like that comes up, you're like, oh, for God's sake, now.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, just anybody can be. Your parents can be, your grandparents can be.
Certainly.
An athlete can be.
An athlete, absolutely.
Right? Everybody has different things in life. Some people don't have both their parents. Some
100%.
people don't have their grandparents. Some people, have lived such a life where, they may have the parents, but they're not an influence. Right? They need some other outside influence that they need to look to. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons because everybody has a different pathway in life.
1,000%.
Yours is scary, but it's
it's still a legal path.
It's not. When the authorities came over to interview us about you, right? Not everybody shared that opinion.
I got out the back door pretty quickly, at least. I was able to get good, solid lawyers
from the esteemed law firm of
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. They've not failed me yet.
Yes, and nor have they failed anybody. You want to talk about undefeated in court? There's a reason.
That's
for that.
right.
In fact, there are 3 reasons. Yeah. All right. All right. So back to the Carter thing for a moment. Boo Carter. A lot of people resist collective bargaining. But in collective bargaining, which I think they're going to have to get to.
All right, there's no question they have to get to it. Okay, yeah, absolutely.
But when you're doing collective bargaining, education still needs to be one of the prime movers in the negotiations. If you're going to be at a university, take advantage of it. Okay, take advantage of it. 98%. Right? I don't care how much money they're making while here. it will not set them up for life because there's a good chance for some of them it's going to dry up pretty fast. Some will invest it and they'll be able to ride it. Okay, and others will get a pro career. But that pro career number is very, very low. It's 2 to 3%.
Yeah.
For football, it's 1%, maybe 2% for basketball, if you want to include European, Japan, and other places. And when you're part of a union, they have rules on agents. In other words, there's a process actually for dropping an agent and then hiring a new agent. There's actually rules and a process for it. In Boo Carter's case, because there are no rules, the guy that thought he was his agent, in all likelihood at this hour, is not his agent. So nobody knows who to get in contact with. Like, where is he? Because he's not answering the phone. Parents aren't answering the phone. The agent, who probably now is the former agent, has answered the phone and says, I haven't heard from him. Right? And now it looks like Omar Cooper might be his agent, who's Ace Bailey's agent. So there you go. Story is Bryce Underwood is not named as the starting quarterback at Michigan. Geez, I hope not. They haven't started training
camp yet. Nah.
Geez, I hope not. Now, at Penn State, Drew Aller's the starting quarterback. We got it. Well, guess what? He's going into his third year as the starter. He should be the starting quarterback. Bryce Underwood has never taken a snap at a college game. Right? Now, in 2 weeks, he absolutely may be the starting quarterback. But, that's a story? That it's wide open? What the heck? One of the problems, though, is I take Ohio State, and this is where the spring helped. You have 3 guys vying for the job. I'll be honest with you, it is very difficult to get 3 quarterback snaps in practices and even out the snaps. It's very difficult. That's why once you see the season start, once in a while you'll see the 3rd guy get some snaps once in a while. Look, in the NFL, the backup never gets snaps. Shouldn't say never, rarely get snaps. Because guess what they're doing? They're running the scout team in the NFL. So the backup quarterback doesn't get a lot of reps with the first unit during the week. Well, same thing in college football. You may have a bigger roster, but it's very difficult to get the 3rd guy snaps in practice with the regular unit. So we'll see what they do there. It looks like, based on the construction, have you been by the stadium?
I have been.
Oh, yeah, security told me. That's right.
That's in my car.
Believe me, they know who you are.
Is that why they cut me off the other day?
Yes, indeed. It looks like they are in the process of not only putting the seats up, but they're also in the process putting in the broadcast booth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about that?
I like it. Saw some pictures of it.
I know.
Saw the seating. Seating looks good.
Yeah, the seating looks good. The temporary broadcast booth is going to be there. The way it's going to line up is you're going to have essentially 2.5 sets of bleachers on one side, 2.5 sets of bleachers on the other, and about 3.5 in the middle. Yeah. It's not bad. And let's give credit where credit is due, because they have been making this progress the entire time. Are they going to make it? Yes, they're going to make it. They're going to make it. Don't worry about it. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Trust me, when anyone is doing construction, I can assure you, no matter who it is, they anticipate being behind schedule on things. So, yes, they will make it. Yeah. It will happen.
Yeah. So, I know people have talked about the ramps And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that is going to be the only way to get up there. That part I don't know. I can't.
I don't know it either.
That part I cannot tell you. But yeah, I mean the broadcast booth area for us, of interest to me, and maybe me only, is progressing, right? The stands, which are more of an interest to you, and justifiably so, yes, that's more of an interest to you. It should be. But if you're wondering why you were tailed on the way out, that's just so.
Cutting me off too. They saw me and they floored it.
So I'm going to talk with Adam Rittenberg later today because I wanted intelligent conversation.
Love Adam. Not talked to him in a bit, but I absolutely love Adam.
He's one of the greatest guys.
Yes,
out
he
there.
is. One of the nicest people.
And Tony Petitti, who had an opportunity this week, and it's a rare one, and I don't understand why it's rare for Tony, only because I think Tony handles himself so well. But hey, I mean, he has to take his own approach media-wise. But I don't know how often you've had a chance to talk to him.
To Petitti?
Normally, security throws you out.
Throw me out instantly.
Yeah.
Yep.
But whenever I've
Rittenberg plenty of times. Petitti, no.
Whenever I've talked to him, I've always just been impressed by the passion, the depth of knowledge. I mean, he has a real feel for this job. And a lot of people, of course, have been critical of his idea. But what he wants to do is essentially take pro concepts in media and have them be a part of the college game. And that's what he's looking to do. So what are some of those pro concepts? Well, when he's talking about having 3 play 6 and 4 play 5 as play-in games, well, that's the NBA model of 7, 10, 8, 9, right? And it's not as if the Miami Heat 2 years ago didn't parlay the 8-9 win into getting to the NBA Finals, because they did. It's also part of the one-game playoff model that Major League Baseball uses. And it's not as if in 2014, both the Kansas City Royals and the San Francisco Giants both had to win the one-game playoff, and both got to the World Series where the Giants won it in 7. Okay. So those are some of the pro concepts that he is putting on his idea model moving forward, where he wants more relevancy in the month of November, which I have argued for years to anybody, and I've argued this for years. Well, college football is the most relevant regular season, and I've always told people, and this is before any of this came up, I said, not in November. I said in November, it's down to 5 to 7 teams. That's all people talk about. I said 5 to 7 teams. There's 134 of them out there. You're only talking about 5 to 7 teams for an entire month leading into the selection? By expanding the playoff, you had as many as 20 people were talking about in the month of November, and the games became more important in November. When Penn State lost to Ohio State here, in years gone by, they would have been playing it out to get to a New Year's Six bowl.
Absolutely.
Not to a playoff. Instead, they played 4 games after that, and and this was one I said, and I know Jack agreed with it, but I said, look, the bottom line is your team is still, you're in a 4-game playoff to make the playoff. Mm-hmm. You had to beat Washington.
Not only that, you knew you were in position for a home game.
Right. Yeah. But you needed to win the 4 games to get so you weren't in the opinion pool with 2 losses.
Right.
And assure yourself a playoff spot. Now, it turned out they assured themselves a spot in the Big Ten championship game, which was somewhat unexpected. But, I mean, those games, all 4 of those games, no matter what you think of the opponents, that to me is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right? Your team needed to win those games, and they did.
Did. Yeah.
Right? All 4 of those games in the month of November last year were relevant, important games. They were not playing out the string and let's just see what bowl game we go to. Okay? That's a relevant regular season. So now he wants to expand the relevancy where if you finish 6th, you might have a shot at playing your way into it. Now, does that mean that you have to agree with it? Does it mean I have to agree with it? No, but at least he's put out a plan. He's put out a plan as to what he thinks. And we can debate the relevancy of the plan and go from there. But suddenly the 8th place team in the Big Ten in the month of November might have a shot to get to 6. And if the SEC were to adopt the same model, which they have not talked about, I think they talked about it a little bit, but the 8th place team in the SEC may have a shot to somehow get to 6th place at the end of it and play in the 1-game playing game. Okay. That's expanding the pool. Major League Baseball right now, we are 6 days away from the trading deadline, right? And because of 3 wild cards in each league now, which means you'd have 12 teams out of 30 in the playoffs, you have as many as 22 teams, and I'd say teams right now, I'd say 15 to 22, teams 15 through 22 are making decisions right now as to whether they are a buyer or a seller.
Absolutely.
Do we have enough here to get there? And if we add one more piece, we can get there.
Can we? Yep.
Right? I'm not so sure we can get there with what we have, and I don't want to sell. I don't want to go out and make deals that we'll regret later. Now, I mean, these are the decisions they have to make because they've expanded the playoff. And if you do this, you are actually expanding the playoff pool. You are now in early December bringing with it relevant games. I know Penn State, Oregon got a terrific rating, and Georgia, Texas got a terrific rating. The ACC, which actually had more playoff relevancy than the Big Ten by a wide margin because Clemson won their way in, got buried in the ratings by Penn State and Oregon. They got buried. And that's because of brands.
Sure.
But that's at least he has an idea out there. And what's interesting about it, to me, is I think he's playing some cards in such a way, because James Franklin has made, and justifiably, has made this point repeatedly for years, and he made the point again on Wednesday about everybody should be playing the same number of conference games.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's he's absolutely correct about that. And to be honest with you, I don't care about, this is where we've been forever. Notre Dame should be in a conference. I mean, enough's enough. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, join a conference. Let's go. You got to do some things in life to start leveling the playing field.
Yeah.
Across the board. The ACC and the SEC should, either the Big Ten and the Big 12 should reduce to 8 games, which they're not going to.
No, they're going to stay at 9.
Right?
Yep.
Right. Or the ACC and the SEC should increased to 9 games, which, by the way, for the respective networks would be good news because that's guaranteed inventory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, for the TV networks. Now, can you get maybe a little more money out of it? We'll see.
Yeah.
But James has been pounding the table on that for years, and James has been absolutely right
I agree.
the entire time about that, and I felt the same way about it. Like, for goodness sakes. And again, I still have a big problem. I don't care if Alabama plays Mercer in September. I don't care.
Right.
I do care when they play the next to
November.
last week of the regular season because that's when the committee is voting. Now, the other part, too, that comes into play with Tony Petitti's idea is it takes the selection committee more off the board. If you're going to 16 schools, right, there are only 3 selections for them to make. The 5-11 model means they have to make 11 selections.
And the other part of it, too, with, let's say you go to 9 games from a TV network, as you talk about TV, from a TV network perspective, just this year in the ACC, who do you think they're going to be lining up to televise, the 4-letter network especially, it's going to be lining up to televise in the ACC. They're going to try to get every North Carolina game they can get. They know the Deion Sanders effect that he had in Colorado. Bill Belichick's going to do the same thing in his first year. So you're absolutely going to...
At least for the first month.
Yeah, exactly. First month,
The first month he will. After that, it'll settle in. And it'll
settle in, sure. But you're going to still... Yeah, my point, you're still going to want to televise as many as you can early on. Absolutely. If you want to try to get 6, 7, 8 conference games, suddenly that's going to be more inventory for you. Well, not inventory, more revenue, et cetera. To me, I think James is absolutely right. You also level the playing field, number one, and you talked about it. The committee's especially looking in November to these teams. And look, Alabama doesn't play Mercer last year and plays a tough SEC game and wins big 2 weeks prior to the season. Maybe they're in the playoff last year, not SMU. I think there's impact on that, and I think that it also is, more importantly, I think it levels the playing field.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I have no problem with them. 2 things. I have no problem playing Mercer in September. I also have no problem opening the season the way Alabama has done many years, where they have that challenge right out of the gate, where you're playing USC, you're playing Florida State. Both of those teams, when you scheduled them, you didn't anticipate would be as bad as they were when they played them. So that's where I have no problem playing that game out of the gate, but I do have a problem with them essentially having a scrimmage in November. Because you're also down the home stretch where the excitement, not only the playoff committee, but the excitement of the fans is getting high, is getting in there as well.
Right.
Not that the games don't count the same. Look, Nevada counts the same as Oregon, etc. But the fans in November...
Not in the minds of the fans.
Not in the minds of the fans. That's the point. The fans are getting a lot more fired up come November than they are August 30th. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And I think you take that away, too, when you schedule a game like the SEC does.
Yeah. So... The numbers are out for the basketball team. Mason Blackwood will wear 1. Ivan Jurcic will wear 3. Cade Mingo will wear 4. Freddie DeLeon's going to change from 4 to 5. Dominic Stewart's now 7. Mila Tunka is 9. Josh Reed, the transfer from Cincinnati, 10. Okay. Eli Rice will still wear 11. Reggie Groden is 12. Tibor Mirotic. Yes. He has a number, okay? I've been telling you for months they're going to get the 2 guys, okay? It's like, come on. It's like, he'll wear 16. Justin Hauser, 21. Sasha Siani will wear 22. And Chris Latito will wear 30. So, yeah. So there you go. I think it comes out to, what does it come out to? 3, 4, I think it should be 13, right?
Should be 13,
1,
yep.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And what did I tell you back in January? How many guys did Mike want to carry? 13. Why do I know that? We talked about it. I don't need the multi-source. It's like we talked about it. So that's there as well. So we'll stick on basketball for a moment. At the National Press Club yesterday, an organization which you've been a member of for years.
Darn right.
And never go.
Not only by my fault either. Usually denied entry quite a few times.
Normally they send you a schedule and it's not it doesn't match up with that actually going on.
Happy Gilmore begins tonight on Netflix. It's the old 9 at 9 green at 9 trick. I get there, nobody's there, they turn the sprinklers on.
So Charlie Baker, the head of the NCAA, spoke at the National Press Club yesterday. And he indicated that because of the logistics, that in all likelihood they're headed toward a pathway of keeping it at 68 for the upcoming season. But he's not ruling out 72 or 76 in future seasons. And part of this is, hey, if you're going to go to 76, let's just pick the higher number, you have to have in place an arena and a system as to how you're going to do this and a TV package that matches up with it. So there are a lot of logistics that go into place where you've been talking about it during the off season, but to do it this season, you really can't do it. You really can't. Because the NCAA tournament, they start announcing the field. Although he said yesterday, 2 hours after the last game. No, Charlie, no. Okay, that's okay. I don't know. Okay. As somebody who's done the Big Ten championship game, okay, they start announcing the field while I'm in the post-game show. Yep. Okay. Now I was able to get back in time when in 2011 when Penn State was announced as getting to Temple. But that's because it was the next to last game announced. So I was in the room for that. Dick Girardi and I were not in the room at the United Center when they announced Penn State, Texas A&M, because we weren't done with the postgame show yet, and they were one of the first ones announced on the board. We got back there, and I had to walk in and ask, hey, he said, we've been announced? We're really? Okay, where are we going? Okay, all right, great. Okay, great. And we're going to Des Moines. Great. We're going to go to West Des Moines. We're going to go to Caitlin Clark's hometown. Great. All right. So, yeah. Oh, man. So 68 will be the number in all likelihood, unless there's something dramatically different that happens. But you have to have the logistics of setting up a second site with also a potentially new methodology as to who should be playing in that site. Now, are you going to have 12s playing each other? Are you going to have 10s playing each other? Are you going to, you already have 11s playing each other. I mean, I'm just, you have to throw out there what the possibilities are. And that second site needs to be outside of the Eastern time zone. It has to be a place, I believe, that let's give Dayton credit. Dayton has been a great site. Dayton embraces it. And I'm talking about not just the university, okay? But I'm talking about the city embraces it. And the fans turn out. They get good crowds in that arena for the first four.
Absolutely.
They get good crowds in that arena for the first four. So you have to find outside of the Eastern time zone a second Dayton that has the ability to maybe sign a 5-year contract saying we want to embrace this as the second first four site. Okay? Maybe you want to call it the opening 8, whatever you want to do. Okay, call it the opening 8. And you don't want to call it the extra 8. That doesn't feel like feel like you're in the tournament at that point.
The grade 8, even though you're not so great, you didn't make tournament.
Yeah, the extras. All right, it's like extra teams. So you have to get that part. Then you have to get the TV part straightened out. And I think it would also help by waiting a year, because next year will be the year you're allowed to add a 30-second game. Something that they're going to do in Division II that they're not ready to put in yet in Division I is Division II, they're going to adopt a 5-year model. You can play 5 years, and however life works, it's great. No red shirts. You play 5 years. And you can play all 5 years. So your team plays 35 games a year, including the playoffs. You have that kind of career, right? Well, that's great. It ends up being, 175 games. Look at you trying to doing math.
Trying to add, but I think that's correct, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's correct. You do all your counting by bobbleheads. I got 2 Montanas, 2 Rices.
I've run out of room, I can tell you that.
That's just a shame.
I have plenty that are put away, and the Phillies and Pirates don't get the love they deserve in bobbleheads, because plenty of them are boxed in my garage. Except for Mike Schmidt, he's displayed. The Schmidts have to be displayed.
You know what you need? You need a storage shed.
I have one. I have a storage. Yeah, I do have a storage locker.
Which has bobbleheads in it?
Not yet. I haven't gotten to the point where I've gotten the bobbleheads in there yet. I've gotten some furniture in there, but
does Metallica have bobbleheads?
They do. I have them. Yeah, just one set. That's it. It's the current Metallica. Yeah, it wasn't the years past. Yep.
I technically don't have a bobblehead, but I sort of do, and that's the microphone.
I have the microphone.
The microphone.
I do have it.
Gave away with the 3 calls on it.
I do have it.
Right. I said. I tell everybody, I said, for a bobblehead of me, that's the best I ever looked.
I have
silver microphone.
I have lobbied for years for a bobblehead of you and Joe. I think you both deserve one. I think it would be awesome.
Well, I proposed to Joe Putnam. We're talking about.
Yep, Joe Putnam. Yep.
Okay. They have the Yellowstone night coming up on August 9th. Which is going to be terrific.
Absolutely.
And they said, well, why don't we get jerseys?
Yeah.
Right? Then I said to him, and I've been kind of like mentioning it. I said to him this week, I said, Joe, by the way, on the jersey thing, I said, they're doing the off-the-back auction on that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, why don't we wear ours, and then we can
auction
be
theirs off.
auction.
Yeah.
I said, I'll sign it. I don't care.
Heck yeah.
Right? I mean, I already destroyed a couple of baseballs this week. I made them worthless by signing them. What the heck, I mean, the little kids were like, they had no idea how the value of their baseball went down, but I signed them. Your value is gone, Junior. But, yeah. So they want to keep it at 68 for this year, it looks like. I mean, they haven't made a final decision yet, but that's where it's trending with continued discussions on 76. So you have to have the TV part with the money, okay, as a logistical chip, and you need to have the arena as a logistical chip, and then you need the format. So those are 3 elements that you need that have to fall into place. Yes, it's pretty obvious there's going to be 2 more 16 versus 16 games, right? But after that, do you play 11s? Do you play 12s? Or maybe you play 10s? Maybe you play 1 11. Or maybe you play 2 11s games, 1 12 versus 12 game, 1 10 versus 10 game. Just to kind of spice it up a little bit. The issue is that for the teams that play in that game, you've got to be on your horse right away because you have to be at the site. The selection is Sunday. You have to be at the site on Monday because you have to be there for the open practice and then you play Tuesday. Now, for the teams that play Wednesday, okay, they're going to be there by no later than Tuesday because, now I don't know if they can go through any kind of practice session with games being played. Probably can, but still. But those are some of the logistics that they have to work out, and that's one of the reasons why logistically they're not ready to go to 76 yet. A year from now, they very well may be, which would coincide with also the 32nd game being added in college basketball. And that 32nd game gives you all sorts of flexibility. All sorts of flexibility. If you're a program that's like, hey, look, I need to get more wins, you can schedule it that way. If you want to schedule another big-time team, go head-to-head with them, which a lot of people would prefer, you can do that. Also, scheduling-wise, and I go back to 2001, that's one of the advantages of being at this stage of my career is I've lived a lot of different experiences, and you can pick out, you notice I fall back on an experience.
Sure.
Right? 2001, Penn State made the NCAA tournament. It was a year they beat almost everybody. They beat Kentucky at Rupp Arena. They won the ECAC Holiday Festival, Princeton and Hofstra. They beat both of them. They were both in the NCAA. They beat Pitt, which was in the NCAA. They beat Temple in the NCAA. It was their non-con. Right? Then when they got to the conference, they racked up all these conference wins.
Yeah.
And most especially in the Big Ten tournament, they beat second-ranked Michigan State.
Yep.
They won at Ohio State, which was a big win. Tyler Smith had a big shot at the end of that game. But they had hit a little bit of a rut midway through the Big Ten season. And out of nowhere, I shouldn't say out of nowhere, because we knew what the schedule was going in, but they had a series with Yale. And for whatever the logistical reason happened to be, this Yale game was plunked in the middle of the Big Ten schedule. And the game was at New Haven. And Penn State had lost 2 in a row. And they went in there and they won the game like 90-75 or something like that, right around that point. And Sharif Chambliss, it was his freshman year, and Sharif had a really good game that night, played really well. And that mentally got everybody back on track as now they walked out of the arena winning again. It was a road game. Who's to say you don't take that 30-second game and put it in the middle of your conference schedule?
Absolutely.
So there are a lot of possibilities with it. And I've talked to Joe Crispin about it. And Joe looked at me and said, Matt, he said, I agree. So that game really, really helped us. And it did help Penn State. Because I just felt mentally after kind of like, a couple tough games in a row, now you play this game, it's on the road. And as I've told you before, I mean, for me, the significance was it was the last game my dad ever attended. Because they were able to make the trip down from northern Connecticut down to southern Connecticut for the game. And there are a wide range of possibilities with that 30-second game. Now you expand to 76. You're asking yourself, are there worthy teams? And as one coach pointed out, when he was surveyed by The Athletic about this, he said, look, we went to 68 teams. There were 100 fewer Division I programs when we did that. He's right. I mean, now you have 364 of them. And a lot of those mid-majors are really good. And if they had expanded by 8 this time, 3 of the 8 bids would have gone to mid-majors. The other 5 would have gone to power conferences, including Indiana and Ohio State, under an expanded tournament to 76, those two Big Ten teams would have made it. But as I point out about the percentages all the time, the percentages are something where it takes you seconds to figure out, but you've got to be able, you need to have the thought process of thinking in a certain way. College football playoff, when they had 4 teams, only 3% of the programs made it. Well, now at 12, we're at 9%. If they go to 16, it's going to be 12%. That means 88% don't make it. Well, in college basketball right now, 19% of the schools make it. If you expand to 76, you're at 21%. You're not going from 19% to 33%. You're going from 19% to 21%. Yep. And by the way, it's and you're rounding up to 21%. It's around, it's like 20.8% or something like that. So it's 21%. I mean, 79% of the schools aren't making it. Now, I think this puts a dent in the NIT. The crown is already going to be reduced from 16 schools to 8 in the upcoming year, which I think is the right number. I wouldn't doubt the NIT gets reduced to 16. Make it a faster tournament. And the NIT also has the issue of being like the Holiday Bowl, which is I've always equated that to bowl games like that. That's what the NIT is to me. The number of guys that say, hey, I'm going to get ready for the draft and don't play in that type of bowl game as opposed to a college football playoff game, you're going to have people opting out. And in basketball, that becomes precarious because if you have 3 or 4 guys that opt out on you, you don't have a team. You can't participate. So I'll probably see you tonight. Mm-hmm. You'll be at the game.
Yep.
Standing in line.
Yep.
Paul will be down in the field with me. I will warn him.
There you go. As long as I get the bobblehead first before I'm escorted out.
I was thinking about this. The broadcast booth's on the west side. The media is going to be in the east side.
I know.
Jeez, I might not see you on game day.
At least for 1 year.
No.
Is that going to be the permanent?
That's going to be the permanent setup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to put a broadcast level in on the west side.
Okay. And then
all that construction work
side.
that was being done on the east side. Although I don't think the media went into the suites. The media was outside for the
Blue-White game. We're outside.
Game.
Yeah, I went as a fan, but it was outside.
Yeah, but they were outside though.
Yep.
Jack and I did the game in the east suites, and we were in a construction zone because I think that's the area they're converting for the media.
Okay.
To be permanent. And by the way, just so everybody, just cool your jets, right? Anytime this guy wants to spend time with me, I endorse it. He's one of the great guys out there. We just have fun with it. If nobody minds, we just have a little fun with each other about a couple of comments here and there. But anytime this guy says, hey, you want to spend some time, I'm the first one to say
100%.
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely.
You sure you're going tonight? I can bring you one.
No, I will be there. I will be there. My brother enjoys the games, so absolutely. It's a chance for him to go to a game.
I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight. Return to your Happy Gilmore 2 swings big on laughs. Legacy was an ESPN story. Does that start?
That's tonight. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Chris McDonald actually, ironically enough, is in Reading tonight.
Oh, is he really?
Is. Yep.
Like throwing out a first pitch the whole day?
Yep, he'll be at the Reading Phillies, the Reading Fighting Phils, I guess they're called.
That's good. Everybody says he's a great dude. So.
Yeah, one of the outstanding actors, too. He helps make that movie what it was. He was outstanding in that movie. Absolutely.
That's Jack and his Mr. Gilmore's.
At Well, even the commercial for the food commercial where they're giving away the collector's cup. Gilmore, you have one as well, Shooter. Oh, Shooter.
Shooter. Shooter again. Oh, at least he brought back the Boston Bruins jersey.
That's true.
All right. So we'll talk to you Monday. I guess you're here all next week.
I believe so. That's the rumor.
Yeah, should be great. But next week they actually do get started. So with practice, we're going to talk a lot about that next week. All right.